Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about some more PlayStation 1 games. We are kind of getting close to the end here, and I think there is probably like 3 or 4 more episodes left of my PS1 collection, and then we will move on to some other consoles. I have a lot more PS2, PS3, and PS4 games than PS1, and I have some real gems and rare ones, so let's continue with the PS1, and we are already at the letter R, starting with a classic. It's Resident Evil. Well, it's probably one of the most popular video game series of all time. And it's a classic. The first one, yeah, I think the PS1 Resident Evil games. And here's the third one. So these are difficult nowadays to play. It's not very user friendly. Not a lot of easy parts in there. Saving is limited. If you die, you go back. There is like a lot of loading screens and parts where it's difficult to. It's not very user friendly, basically. There is a lot of loading screens, the doors, you have to go back, backtracking. And I would say that the remakes of these games are amazing. I actually played through them, not these ones. But, this is the first one. Classic. It's with the weird, cheesy cutscenes. I have an Italian copy, but it plays fine. Then there is Resident Evil 2. I actually really love the European cover, although the NTSC cover is also really great. But it always reminds me of the Night of the Living Dead movies, the George Romero classics, because it has those same vibes. And with the classic cutscenes from the first Resident Evil game, that just adds to the same mood as those ones. And these games are 2 discs. I've already talked about Resident Evil because these are the PAL copies I have. So I talked about 2 on the one of the previous videos, and then there is 3 Nemesis. Again, it's another classic. This is where basically the series started. This is where people get to know it, and like Resident Evil 2 on PS1 is actually one of those games that is still looked upon very favorably, and it's still considered a classic. And of course, Capcom really re-released it all the time, and you can play them right now, even the original versions on modern consoles. Back in the day, Ridge Racer was basically every single console's launch title. I think until the PS4. I think the PS4 was the first one that didn't have an original Ridge Racer as a launch title for Sony, and even the Nintendo consoles. And even the 360 had Ridge Racer 6, which was a launch title for that. But Ridge Racer Type 4 is basically the. How do you say this? Basically the magnum opus of the PlayStation 1 in terms of racing games. It's like buttery smooth 60 FPS. It's just an incredibly good game. One thing I really like about it is it has like the chunkiest manual of all time, probably, or one of the biggest ones. And then it's the platinum version, so it has the boring, artless, glossy cover. But yeah, I mean, Ridge Racer is an absolute classic. Just fantastic arcade racing games. I'm kind of sad that Namco, or now it's called Bandai Namco, they don't really do Ridge Racer games anymore. They just recently announced that they are going to re-release one of the arcade games on Switch 2. Yeah, a couple of days ago, the Switch 2 got revealed with a lot of new games, and Ridge Racer was among them, so. But it's a classic one. But I really hope that they are going to make a brand new Ridge Racer, because that's something that we don't really have. We don't really have a lot of like high quality arcade racing games, and Ridge Racer is basically the series in that regard. Next up it's a classic, Road Rash Jailbreak. So yeah, arcade game. I think it was a big deal on like Sega ones. It's racing and combat. You have to punch enemies, and it has a bunch of multiplayer modes. So this is a pretty fun version of Road Rash. It's one of the better one. I never really found a lot of EA classics. labeled games. So EA, they basically had their own Platinum series back in the day, and even the, yeah, you see like the discs, they are just regular discs, so it doesn't say EA Classics. But this is a late PS1 release, it's from 2000, so still it's a good game, fun. And then it's the classic board game, Scrabble on PlayStation. I haven't actually played this one. I think it does have English in there. Even the screenshot has, that's in English. So I hope it does have, I mean, this version, 2001. I like Scrabble. We play it with my family a bunch, and it's a fun little game, and I can't open the box. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the best quality games I have. It's absolutely spotless because, yeah, you know, nobody realistically bought this for their kids to play on the PS1, but actually I think this is probably a fun version of the classic board game. And it was made by Roomcraft, the same who made the Barbie games. So yeah, it's Mattel, so same. Snowboard Racer by Midas. So Midas Touch, exactly. Yeah, these are not very good quality. In the one of the first videos, we had a bunch. I think it was in the first PAL version video. We talked about those low quality Midas slash Phoenix Games titles, and yeah, this is one of those low budget, low effort. Even the case is falling apart. Like really low quality sports games, and yeah, this is one of them. Snowboard Racer, the most generic title ever, and I think this is probably a late release as well. It's 2002, so by this time we already had the PS2 out, we already had the Xbox out, we already had the GameCube out, and then they were like, yeah, let's release this low quality game on PS1. Just absolute shovelware. Something that is definitely not shovelware, it's Soul Blade. So Soul Blade was made by Namco, and basically this is like the first episode for Soul Calibur. This is the game that predates Soul Calibur. It's a really early PS1 game. It's from, yeah, 1996. Basically, I think this is an arcade conversion, and then they put this. It's like a fighting game, very reminiscent of Soul Calibur, like weapons and changeable weapons and bunch of characters. Yeah, it says this is the arcade stick from Namco. They were really into the PS1 back in the day. They made a ton of games, and of course you can see the classic cover art. So yeah, this is actually a really fun fighting game. I played it with my friends quite a few years ago, but it's really fun, and I think it holds up very well. It's not as good as the Soul Calibur games, but it was a really good base for that game series and a really good introduction, and something that they really wanted to show that, you know, Soul Calibur is going to be the next step. And, you know, Soul Calibur series became a legendary game series, and it's still going on today. This is one of my favorite games on the PS1, and I hate that this is my copy. I got it from a friend. It doesn't have anything, but the game plays very well. This is Spyro Year of the Dragon. It's the third game in the Spyro series. This is actually the last game on the PS1 and the last game that Insomniac made, which is a shame, because other than that, it's like a really good game, and it's really solid. Just so much content in the game. So many fun changes, different characters you can control. There is like an ice hockey part in there. There is a shooter part with the monkey. It's just absolutely amazing. And it's actually one of those games that back in the day in my childhood, it's like one of my childhood games. I got it from a friend. He lent it to me back in the day. So I played this through, and I even 100%ed the game. So yeah, Spyro the Year of the Dragon is fantastic. If you can get an original PS1 copy, that's a really good one. But also, it's really great on the Reignited trilogy on PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and I think it's also on the Switch. So yeah, absolute classic 3D platformers, just like technically sound. It plays very well. The music is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it. It's one of the best games in my opinion on the PS1. And a game that is also a classic, and I actually checked, and it's available on the PlayStation Store in the classic PlayStation 1 games, and it costs like $5 or something. So if you want to play a classic PS1 Star Wars game that is, I mean, it's good. It's a fun game. It's kind of silly. It's kind of wacky, especially looking at it to these days. It includes a special Star Wars Duel of the Fates music video, which I don't know. I never checked it out. It's loosely based on the first movie. I think this was around the same time that the movie came out, so they released the game. I think it was. To be honest, I think it was released after the movie, but not that long after the movie. And they sort of created this 3D environment. It has a bunch of funny stuff. You can kill a bunch of people in the village just by going up with your lightsaber, and it gives you some stuff. And it follows the game, kind of loosely. And it has a really nice, colorful manual. So you can see, like, how the different characters look like. Well, I mean, Anakin doesn't look very, very good. I mean, are you alright? No, I don't think so. But yeah, it's a nice and colorful manual. Look at that. You can see the enemies. You can even see the Gangan Otogunga, the Gangan city, and this is the Queen's ship. I don't know. These are actually, I mean, it doesn't look like this on the PS1, to be honest. These are like separate 3D renders, but I would recommend it if you want to pick it up, and you can play it on the PS4, PS5, and it's really cheap. If you have the premium subscription, you can try it out, and it's with today's standard, it's not that great, but I think it's really fun and a funny game, and you can give it a go for cheap. Achtung Learbox 88 Deutsche Mark. This is Steel Rain, and it looks like a tank game, but also has a snake on it. What is this? Yeah, so basically it's a tank game as far as I can see. 1 or 2 players, whatever. I have never tried this game, and I can't even open the box. There you go. Wow, I would love to have one of these analog joysticks. It looks amazing, although I don't think that a lot of game uses it. Yeah, so Steel Rain on the PS1, it's like tanks and you shoot stuff. It was published by Sony. Yeah, it's one of those forgotten games, and I don't know what to tell you about it. Maybe I'll try it and return to it, but yeah, it's not really the most appealing game, is it? Something that is definitely more appealing to me is Taifu Wrath of the Tiger by DreamWorks Interactive and Activision. Now, I don't know if it has like anything to do with any actual DreamWorks property, but it's actually a DreamWorks made game because it was published by Activision then. I don't know, developed by DreamWorks Interactive. So yeah, it's a kung fu sort of fighting hack and slash type of game. It's actually pretty fun. It has a wide range of movements, and I mean, yeah, the character looks a bit funky, but this is probably something that DreamWorks might have wanted to become a thing, but in actuality, it never really became what they wanted to do with this. So, yeah, Typhoon Breath of the Tiger is, I think it's worth it. Go. It's actually a solid platforming slash hack and slash game, but it's not really something that people really talk about or wanting like, oh, this has to have a re-release. It's sadly forgotten. And we already talked about Soul Calibur with the Soul Blade games, and then there is Tekken 2 in particular. This has the funny like double pack thingy, which is always weird. But yeah, Heihachi wins. And just an absolute, oh my, uses the Neo G-Con, okay, or Negicon. Okay, that's like the twisty controller, I think. So yeah, that's weird. Oh, what is this? It has paperwork in there. Oh yeah, you can fill it out, like how do you buy games, and oh, back in the days we were hearing about games in the cinema or on the radio. Magazines were a thing. Yeah, what kind of games do you like? There's this nerd guy. influence the future. Yeah, so if people liked Tekken, they can just write back and then they can post it for free, and I guess you can get like some gifts and whatnot. But the actual main thing is, of course, Tekken with a surprisingly sexy cover. And then, of course, there is the big manual. And on the back, we have some other games. We have the first Tekken, Starblade, Ridge Racer Revolution, which is also a really good Ridge Racer game. Galaxy and Namco Museum, the first Ridge Racer, Slybers, Sled. Okay, and then Air Combat, which is, well, it's called Ace Combat in Europe, so there is that. And we have this big manual, because it's like multiple languages. It's in German, but yeah, the game is in English actually. Tekken 2, it's... I mean, what can you say about Tekken that hasn't been said before? Tekken is... Oops, it's falling apart. So Tekken is one of the greatest fighting game franchises of all time. I think it's only rivaled by probably Mortal Kombat. But also there is Street Fighter, Smash Bros. So you know, Tekken is... It's probably the best in case of technicality. There is a lot of different moves, there is a lot of different combos, and Tekken has always been really, always had a really wide range of combos and weird moves you can do, and it's still, I think 8 is the newest one now, so Tekken still remained true to this. So it's like, if you want to go professionally and you want to go like really serious about it, you can still play Tekken like that. And you know, there is also Tekken 3, which is probably the best Tekken of all time, in my opinion. I really liked Tekken 3. We played it with my friends a bunch, which is kind of funny because I'm not into fighting games that much. I don't really like fighting games, but Tekken 3 was the one where, even though I didn't like it, fighting games, Tekken 3 was the one that, you know, if you have friends over, you can always pick it up, play it. Anyone who's not really good at this can have fun with it. But if you want to go like seriously, or not this one, but you can play Tekken games online, you can learn the combos, you can have a really good Tekken, you can become a good Tekken player, and it has a lot of variety in the game. So yeah, it's absolute classics. And Tekken is probably the most classic of all time. You can see it's like, oh, Namco arcade stick again. And then again, the manual with Heihachi in it. It's just such an emblematic game. So many weird characters and a weird story and being really crazy. But yeah, Tekken is just great. Another one that's a big arcade game, it's Tempest X3, I think. Yeah, that's the name of the game. It's an arcadey space shooter kind of thing. So there is this vector graphics ring, and you go around it, and you have to shoot the red spaceships that are coming towards your way. I've never been good at this type of games. It's basically like Asteroid, but you have a 3D perspective, but it also borrows from like Galaxian. I only have the game, I don't have the manual. It's nice and orange. So yeah, it's another classic one that I think basically like every console at the time had some sort of version of Tempest by Atari, because it was, for some weird reason, the big franchise that Atari tried to push on every single system that they have, or everyone else's systems. And you know, Tempest X3 is just an example of that as well. And finally today, this is my very bad version of the City of Lost Children. I think this is like an adventure game, probably. I've never played it. It has, well, it's in English at least. It has like polygonal characters. I think it's similar to Alone in the Dark. And also it's based on a movie with the same title. I think like Rutger Hauer is in there. I don't know. The game is pretty pricey, but you know, I haven't played it, so I don't know what to tell you about it, other than, yeah, it was made by Psygnosis. I guess they made a lot of stuff back then. And then that's it for today. Thanks for watching. There is a lot of really great games on PS1. I mean, from this bunch I can recommend the Tekken games, Resident Evil, and probably my personal favorite from this one Spyro Year of the Dragon, but Ridge Racer Type 4 is also fantastic. And, don't sleep on Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, because that one's also great time. Thanks for watching, and, in a couple of days we will be back with a new episode. So subscribe, like, and make comments, so maybe you have some personal experience with these games. And, as always, see you later.